Salutations everyone, and welcome to a Smash video where we're going to be discussing the likelihood, tier-wise, of the final Super Smash Bros. DLC character for Ultimate. I feel like there's not a whole lot of obvious candidates. We have a lot of characters we know it's not. But let's just go over the tier list. You can see a couple of options that we have here, and let's just go off at the very beginning to explain what makes a Smash Bros. Character. What does a character have to be in order to be in Smash? Because 99% of the people don't understand these fundamental principles of what it takes to be a character in Smash Brothers. And we'll start off right here in the impossible tier. Memes are in the impossible tier. Your Goku, your Shrek, your whatever. All the memes, impossible. It has to be a video game character. It has to be a video game character. There's only one character in Smash that's not a video game character, and that's Rob. He's a toy invented and created by Nintendo, has of course made cameos in many games, and of course has been in the last 3 Smash Brothers games, but Nintendo hasn't made a toy since then to come with their console. So I think that one-off is done with. It has to be a video game character, and Goku, sorry, not a video game character. It's a cartoon. So that's impossible. Another thing is that a lot of people don't seem to understand. It's got to be at least somewhat popular in Japan. Smash Bros. Is a Japanese game, and they cater to the Japanese audience. We were thrown a bone with Banjo and Kazooie. They are somewhat popular, much like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro have had success selling in Japan. So they are possibilities. But if your franchise is not popular in Japan, if it's wildly unpopular, it's not going to happen. Especially since this is the final character, it's going to have to be a splash. In Smash 4, we got Bayonetta. That was a splash. It was the fan vote. Obviously, we know she wasn't the most voted character. That, of course, was Sora. But we know we'll obviously get into him. As you can see, he is on the list right here. But there's a lot of reason to anticipate this being a significant character in some way. So with that, I think a lot of people are raising their expectations. They'll go, Master Chief, sorry, not on a Nintendo console. What do all of the characters have in common on the Smash roster? All of their franchises have had at least one game on a Nintendo console. Whether it be Game Boy all the way to Switch, anything in between, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, N64, GameCube, whatever it is, all of them have had a game in their franchise on a Nintendo console, and there has been no exceptions to that. Also, another thing that for some reason bears repeating, we've seen, I don't know, about 6,000 or 7,000 leaks about Smash DLC characters leaked. We can count on 0 hands how many of those leaks have come true, because it's 0 leaks have ended up being true. All the ones that it was oh, this has to be Rayman, look at this footage, blah blah blah, it has to be him. Obvious fake, no one got it. The Grinch, obviously impossible. But people will always believe leaks. Always believe leaks. But exactly 0 of them have been true. Some people have guessed correctly. There was a famous tweet where someone rattled off 4 of the DLC characters. And they all happened to be, really good guesses, and they all got in, but they didn't claim it to be a leak that, oh, I have the entire DLC roster right here, which would have been impossible at the time because it wasn't, the DLCs weren't confirmed that far in advance. And another thing is making a Smash character takes time. There is a reason why Pyra and Mythra weren't in the last Smash game, right? Because that game was just announced, and the fact that Greninja was a starter Pokemon, is one of the earliest Pokemon that they knew. in development before that game was out to come to Smash. So that was an earlier in development character. And then obviously, you know, like Byleth, you know, so those are some of like the newest characters that we've gotten. But, you know, it takes a lot of time. They got to get, you know, the rights and the licensing, especially if it's a third party. And we'll get into a little bit of that as well. And obviously, you know, designing the character and the moves and the music and the stage and all of that. So that's our D tier. The impossible are memes. No Goku, no Master Chief, none of that shit. Those are not going to happen. And then we have our Deconfirms. Your Genos, your Dantes, your Shantaes, your Cupheads, right? All the characters have gotten Mii costumes that are deconfirmed or assist trophies. Like everyone's gonna want to say Waluigi. It's not gonna be Waluigi, okay? It's not impossible. It's not in the impossible tier, but they have said multiple times that these characters that are assist trophies will not become characters, and we know that any character has gotten a Mii costume has not gotten into the game. We do have characters in Ultimate that were previously Mii costumes, but their Mii costume was never brought to Ultimate. Instead, the character was. So no Geno. Geno is barely in the Deconfirmed. He should be in the impossible because he's just a meme. No one really wants Geno. He's just a meme. No one really cares. He's a kind of popular character in an unpopular game that almost nobody played. I'm not saying Mario RPG is a bad game. I'm not saying you don't love it. I'm just saying it's not Geno. And we have the Mii costume to prove it. Dante would have been, I think, the most likely to be this final character, but it got a Mii costume with the last DLC character. So we know it's not them, and obviously all your indie characters, your Shantaes, your Cupheads, your Sanses, those are only getting a Mii costume. That's the most that they're gonna get. You know, those mostly almost always Western indie games, those are going to be the only thing that we get from that, and we should be thankful for at least that much. I know at least some people are. It's better than nothing. If you really want a Cuphead, we have a costume for it that looks pretty darn good. So those are your Deconfirms. Not going to be a Waluigi. I'm not saying it's impossible, but they would have to go back on their own word, which it's within the realm of possibility. I just find it super, super unlikely, but not impossible. In your dreams category, we're going to put Sub-Zero / Scorpion. It would be one of those, right? If you're going to get a Mortal Kombat character, it's going to be Sub-Zero, Scorpion. They're the mascots. They're the most popular ones. But it not popular in Japan at all. Has never been, never will be. Sure, it's I think the fourth, maybe it's the third best-selling fighting game franchise in history, behind Tekken, Street Fighter, and Smash Brothers. They might have passed Smash, or Smash passed them. We don't know. Obviously, Smash Ultimate is the best-selling Smash game of all time, so they're kind of close. But you know, we have our Tekken representative, we have our Smash Street Fighter representatives, and some people think it might be Chun-Li. I don't see it. I don't see it being Chun-Li or Akuma, because like we have Ryu and Ken, and that would be kind of a weird note to go on. Just really any franchise that already has reps, I don't see them ending on that. I don't see them ending with Knuckles or Eggman or Shadow, or you know, any other franchise with the outside shot of it being a new Pokemon. I'm gonna put that in the maybe pile. I just put Umbreon here to represent all Pokemon. I don't think it will be a Pokemon because we've already have so many Pokemon. I don't find it out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it's an in your dreams category because it's Pokemon. It's the biggest, you know, franchise in the history of time, and it wouldn't, you know, be the weirdest thing for them to add another Pokemon character. At least a couple, you know, dozen million people would be happy no matter what the Pokemon is. I just chose Umbreon because Umbreon is the most popular Pokemon in the world, in America and in Japan. That's very important. That is not in the game. Obviously, we already have Greninja, we already have Lucario, you know, we already have Pikachu, Charizard. You know, sure, you have like popular ones like you know, Mimikyu or what have you, But Umbreon globally is the most popular Pokemon that is not in Smash. I don't think it will be. You know, people's like, oh, it could be Cinderace or Rillaboom. I think that's within the realm of possibility. It would be a weird note to end on, you know, with a franchise that's already represented, especially one that's represented so much. I don't think it would be a bad addition. I love Cinderace. I think they would probably pick Rillaboom because, like, Grookey seems to be Nintendo's favorite of the Sword and Shield generation, because they always seem to pick one. You know, Cinderace wouldn't be a humongous surprise, but I don't see that happening. And like, there's Tracer's not on here. I really don't see it even being worth including. There be an Overwatch character in Smash, so it's not even here. And I think Chrono, also in your dreams, very popular character, obviously Japanese made, so it's popular in Japan, but he was only in one game. You know, he's not in a long-standing franchise, and you know, obviously Akira Toriyama, all of his creations very, very popular, but Chrono being in one game and it being in a really old game, regardless of how popular it is, it's never even gotten like a remaster, you know, and it's only got one sequel that, you know, he's not even in really. So I don't see it being Chrono. It wouldn't be the worst decision ever. Very popular game, but not a super popular franchise. But I think he would be a fine fit, you know. No swords. Screw you, people. There's not as many swords as you actually think there are. Also, like, they feel like anything that's a disjoint weapon is a sword. So you can't please those people. They're just not going to be pleased no matter what. Also, in your dreams, I've got Sora. This would be my dream, obviously. It's the most wanted character. A lot of people have talked about Sora because of the supposed leak. That, if those of you don't know, there was a post or a tweet or something back in July. So this isn't recently. This was back in July. That it was someone who worked at a music company for Disney, like the Disney music division, that said that they were asked for rights for Kingdom Hearts music for a character that would be revealed on October 5th. Now, that gives it some credence. I'm not gonna lie, that gives it some credence because this was back in July. They said October 5th, which we didn't know it was going to be October 5th until the last direct, which we didn't even have a date for that last direct. But if you're going to make it up, you're most likely going to pretend and lie that it'll be revealed in the, you know, in the September direct. And all we got was in that September direct was that, oh, Sakurai's going to show it off on October 5th. So that person says, oh, it's going to be Sora. Maybe that means it's a Mii costume. You know, if it's true and they're grabbing music, you know, we've gotten Megalovania obviously before. So I don't think, if that's true, if everything they say is true, that it means that it's Sora. But here's the thing. There's also, there was another tweet from a Twitter account. I forget who it is, but he was a verified Twitter account. He's like in the business. He teased that Min Min was going to be a DLC character long before she was confirmed to be in the game. He's tweeted out a couple of tweets, and if you took the first letter from each of those tweets when he's talking about a Smash character, it's M-I-N-M-I-N. So obviously this person knew that it was Min Min, and they put this out long before anybody knew for sure that it was Min Min. So somehow this person knew that it was Min Min. They're in the business. They're somewhat of an important person. And they also tweeted that Nintendo reached out to Disney because Disney owns the rights to Sora. If you are not, you know, up to date on your legal procedures within the video game world, any original character that Square Enix made for Kingdom Hearts is owned 100% by Disney. They don't own the Final Fantasy characters, but any original characters made for Kingdom Hearts, those characters are owned by Disney. So Disney has the rights to Sora, and Disney has to sign off on it. And this guy said that Nintendo went to Disney to ask to use Sora, and Disney said no. So this person knew that it was Min Min. Maybe they know also that at least in the past, Disney did not grant them the permission to use Sora. And for even if you're not, really into legal stuff, you all should know, whomever is watching this, that Disney are one of the most litigious companies in the whole fucking world. They will go to a kindergarten and have you tear down a mural because you painted Mickey on it. That's a thing that happened. Warner Brothers came in and said you can use Looney Tunes, right? Nice of them, but Disney litigious as fuck, right? They want to hold on to everything that they can. They have changed American laws to keep their copyrights. So it shouldn't be a surprise that they would hold Sora and not let anybody touch him. They don't even make that much merch for him. As a big fan myself, I hope it's Sora. I hope this leak is true, but in your dreams. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It would be the biggest character that it could possibly. It's the most wanted character. So if you're going to make a splash for the final character, there's no better candidate to make a splash than the most requested character in the whole world. I'm sure if we took a new poll, if you take a look at the old poll where Bayonetta won, if you take out all the characters that are now in the game, it would be Sora #1 in Japan, Sora #1 in America, Sora #1 in Europe. I'm sure if you redid that vote. Maybe I'm wrong, but it would definitely be the #1 overall, because he was #1 overall before. And obviously Disney said no, and Bayonetta went in. So then we go into our maybe pile. I'm going to put Spyro and Crash in here. They are Western games, so it is less likely for it to be them, but they have found success in Japan. I think especially Crash. Obviously with Skylanders, that kind of propelled Spyro, whether you like Skylanders or not, it propelled Spyro to the highest level of popularity it's reached since its very first game. These are of course linked more so to PlayStation, but both of these franchises have had games on Nintendo consoles. Obviously more recently with both of them, obviously Skylanders was, I think it first started on Wii and then it went to PS3 and Xbox 360, I forget, but it seemed to be most known for Wii as far as I know. But neither of these characters are super duper popular. I think they would fulfill that need of a splash because they're long-standing old characters with a ton of games, and that always helps when a game has a longevity of popularity. If it started early and is still popular and making games today, that always helps. And that's my maybe tier. With our no surprises, I'd have Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, Japanese game, long-standing, popular. I would say Monster Hunter. Obviously there is no Monster Hunter character, but I think this would fulfill their splash. And Monster Hunter, if those who don't know, is the biggest, most popular video game franchise in Japan right now, and has been for a while. It's #1 when a new Monster Hunter comes out, 8 million people calling sick or whatever the number is. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's like World Cup levels of I'm sick, but I'm faking it because of this thing that's happening. So it could be like a highly customizable character in order to make it unique, because with all of the DLC characters past, with the exception of like Banjo, they've all been super gimmicky characters. So, like super weird shit that we've never seen before, like with Min Min and her super long arms and her multiple arm switching smash attacks, and obviously Joker, with Arsene, and all the weird things that we have seen, with Kazuya and all his special inputs, and Sephiroth with all his weird shit, and it gets the winged angel when he hits 100% or whatever it is. And I think Monster Hunter could definitely do something like that with the sheer amount of ways you can make a character in Monster Hunter. there's so many different palettes and swaps that they can choose from, and there might be tons of different weapons. You can see a gimmick coming out of that template, and I think we all can. And as I think the most likely candidate, I think it's probably supposed to be here, for like I think most people, but most likely on the left, is Phoenix Wright. Super popular franchise, mega big in Japan, very big in the West as well, but it's more popular, it's huge in Japan. And he's been in a fighting game. He was in the last not the last one, but you know, he was in a Capcom fighting game. I don't know if he was, you know, meta or whatever. I think I saw him used once in a tournament. But Phoenix Wright is a super popular franchise, and just based off of its popularity alone, I think fulfills the splash quota. Not that it has to, it's just that that's what a lot of people are expecting, and you would think that Nintendo would piecemeal out their DLCs in not a specific order, but they would save maybe not the least special for last, right? So, you know, a lot of people might be like, oh, it's gonna be a Fire Emblem character. Is it though? Would it be? I mean, a lot of people will be disappointed because everyone hates Fire Emblem for some reason if they're a Smasher. So, and you know, people love hating on Swordies as well. But like, there's no new Fire Emblem game out. Like, we already have Byleth, and you know, she's using all of the Lord's weapons. And there's no remaster that we know of coming out. You know, there are people that are upset when Smash characters are added to advertising an upcoming game or a game that just came out, and that is in the realm of possibility. But there's nothing coming out or recently came out for Fire Emblem than the one that already has a character in Byleth. So this is just me. Honestly, if I'm gonna say what's the most likely, even more so than Phoenix Wright, it's a character that I can't even think of. It's honestly the most likely thing. I think it's a character that I'm not thinking of right now. That'd be like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Oh well, you know, it could be another fighting game character, but like, I don't. Why would they have another Tekken character? Why would they have another Street Fighter character? You know, people would like Chun-Li, sure. People would like Akuma, sure. But is that really good enough to be the last character if they're going to do that? Honestly, obviously, you know, Ken came at launch, so it's not like they've had a DLC Street Fighter character yet, like they have with Tekken. But I just don't see, you know, as far as all we can do is take a look at the past and use that to try to predict the future. That's all this is. That's all any of this is. You know, if people are predicting it's like it's going to be Goku or Master Chief, then they're an idiot. They haven't looked at the past, and their opinion shouldn't even be something that you would listen to, because obviously they're dumb and they're looking for memes and clicks. It's like, oh, you know, Shrek ogres his way into, you know, like, you know, that's cute for a Reddit post or whatever, but it's not going to happen. You know, people want Sora, and there is a supposed leak for it, and a lot of people, because Sora is so popular and because so many people want it to be Sora, we have you know, 500 million people who want it not to be Sora because of how much they hate, how much people like things, because there's always those people that don't want people to enjoy shit, and that's going to be your Sora people. Or they're just in it for the I just want them to be sad for the 12th time in a row when their DLC character is not Sora, even though he's the most requested. You know, because that would, you know, it would be a heartbreaker, and it's going to be a heartbreaker because it's not going to be Sora. I want it to be. I hope I'm wrong as fuck, and the leak is totally true, which only I think holds any bit of credence because they got the date right back in July before anyone knew of this date of October 5th being the release of the final character, or at least the announcement. Maybe it comes up the same day. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? But maybe it's not. Maybe, you know, a week or two later. Always possible. But sometimes it is on the day, sometimes it's not. But like it wasn't with Kazuya. But regardless, and the fact that it was leaked through the music, you know, got the rights to, that's more feasible than any of the other leaks that's like, oh, I know a guy who works in Nintendo. No, you don't. Or it's like, oh, I was on a early build. No, you weren't. There's no such thing, right? But like, I work for the Disney, you know, music legal, you know, whatever, and they're requesting, like, that seems more feasible than any of the other insider leaks that we have seen thus far. And all those insider leaks, of course, have been faked. Of course, if you know, when Ultimate came out and you list 12 characters, you got 3 of them right, that you didn't leak shit. You just guessed really popular characters. So these are all really popular characters. So I'm not going to say I'm a genius if any of these end up being the final character. It's just educated guesses, guys. We're just having fun. You know, I hope it's my character that gets in, but if not, I hope it's your character that gets in. It's going to be somebody's character. You know, a couple dozen million people will be happy no matter whom it is, unless it's, you know, I don't know, Smeargle. Like, I you know, a lot of people are going to be really unhappy. Sora would make the most people happy. Sora makes the most sense, but he's also going to be the most difficult character to get the rights to. So I don't see it as something that's going to happen. Phoenix Wright would be no surprise. A Monster Hunter, the biggest franchise in Japan, that would be no surprise. Even if it's not a specific character from the lore, it's just the player, much like Hero from Dragon Age, sorry, Dragon Quest. I do that sometimes. And, you know, Ninja Gaiden isn't super popular. It doesn't have a long-standing franchise. It's lasted a while. It hasn't had one in a bit, but it wouldn't be a surprise, and a lot of people will be happy. And maybe his kit is just so cool that nobody cares because they want to play him. So that's really all that really matters, no matter what the character is. Hopefully it's fun to play. Hopefully it's not broken as shit as some of the DLC characters are, and they have a really, really dumb gimmick that makes the game super unfun. Steven Minman! Sorry. I cough a lot when I tell the truth. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Let me see in the comments what you guys think / hope, and we all get to see on October 5th who this final character will be.